name is Darrin, I'm the Vice President and Executive Director of the Conservative Institute, which conducts the new Centurion Leadership Program. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all incoming new Centurion Leadership Program participants, members of our distinguished faculty, and the many elected officials who've joined us. A couple of them had to leave early, but particularly also the folks who are here as guests. It is really nice to meet finally some of you whom we've only gotten to know through Facebook and Twitter and other social media. A huge thank you to Dr. Edwards. We are truly honored to have him amongst us this evening, and also to Dr. Harry Vereiser and Mr. Bruhan for giving what will surely be spectacular talks this evening. And last but not least, welcome back to the inaugural alumni of the new Centurion program. It is really great to see you all again, indeed. We have over 100 graduates from our first year, and many couldn't make it to tonight's symposium. But those of you who are in the room or received your diplomas tonight, it's almost everybody in the room. Why don't you go ahead and stand so that way you guys can be saluted. Okay, those of you who got your diplomas tonight. Some are students that are studying constitutional law or art, philosophy, and even journalism. In fact, one of our Centurions started the only conservative newspaper on the campus of Michigan State University. Some of our people are homeschool mothers, and some are business people who volunteer as activists. And one of our very favorite is a FedEx driver. But they all have one thing in common. They have all been schooled in first principles. They are what Russell Kirk called the defenders of the permanent things. They've been taught many of conservatism's most important lessons from the most influential classic conservative books and bodies of thought. Our faculty is comprised of some of the most successful people from the intellectual and professional political communities, and our experienced faculty is handing down the tools to successfully turn sound philosophy into tactics. When we think about the type of leaders we want in our future, I think we can all agree, particularly after looking back on the last decade, that what we need now more than anything are folks that have been schooled in those deeper conservative principles and philosophies. If conservatism is going to have a renaissance, it should be led by men and women who have, like Reagan did, dived deeply into the great works of Friedrich von Hayek, Russell Kirk, Whittaker Chambers, Richard Weaver, Robert Nesbitt, Hazlitt, Meyer, Burke, Tocqueville, Cicero, and Aristotle. But the new Centurions aren't just philosophers. We're trying to train truly great community organizers. So we're teaching politics as the art of the possible. And we're trying to add a little from what faculty member Clark Durant called an education for a good life. The new Centurion program can have a life-changing effect on its participants. And that's what often happens when folks are exposed for the first time and discover timeless truths. I know this because not only am I the VP and the ED of the NCLP, but I also am a student. For over a decade, I had Rush and the other shouters on the talk radio as my co-pilots. And it wasn't until that one year that the new Centurions exposed me to Hayek and Burke and Kirk and so many of these other great authors that I finally earned my wings as a conservative. The new Centurions are not your typical surface-level talk show conservatives. They are, as Emerson put it, apprentices to the truth, that under every deep, a lower deep opens. We are fortunate enough to have a handful of donors who have helped our fledgling 501c3 get off the ground, and hundreds of people from all across America would love to take our course. But we're going to need the help of the donor community to put the wind in the sails of this program and help us build this institution. We know that it's tough to gain altitude in a downwind, but we have taken a great step forwards towards spreading our wings this year by having Saul Anusis come on as our chairman. And we're really looking forward to hearing from him shortly, if he arrives. But first, a couple announcements from Randall Thompson. Randall has spent many years working in Michigan's legislature, as well in the Attorney General's office. And not only is he today the senior political advisor to one of the ranking members of Congress, but he's also the guy who a couple years ago opened the door to me so that way I could discover the permanent things. He's been a mentor to me in this crazy business of politics, and he's about as good of a friend as any Buckeye stuck in this state up north. My friend, Randall Thompson.
You were going so good, too. Jeez. Always have to bring in the buck. You guys notice he's got the scarlet and gray tie on tonight?
Randall?
It's just wrong.
Randall,
It's just
I'm
wrong.
dating an Ohio State fan, so I'm...
Well, that's all right, you know. We'll be nice the other 6 days of the week. How about that? I just want to thank everybody for showing up this evening and coming out. I know you have busy lives and busy schedules. There are lots of demands on your time, and time is the only thing you don't get back. You can always make more friends, you can make more money, but you can't get the time back. And we hope that this time you find worthwhile. We spend a lot of time and effort behind the scenes trying to put on things like this, and certainly with the new Centurion Leadership Program having 3 locations around the state of Michigan, in Detroit, Lansing, and Grand Rapids, we had over 284 people through the door of the new Centurion program during our last cycle, and we had over 194 graduates. So, you know, we couldn't be more proud of our inaugural year, and we're more than happy to say that we're going to be beginning again in October in the Flint-Saginaw Bay City market, where we're going to hold the I-75 corridor version of the new Centurion, and then beginning in January of this year, we'll be right back here in Detroit. So, all of you, we need your help as graduates, as supporters of the organization, as members of the faculty and the donor community. Who do you know and respect? Who would you like to give the gift of the new Centurion program to? Because for many of us, it opens your mind to things that you didn't know before. You learn about the authors that Darrin talked about, and you get to learn from the best of the educational community and the business community and the political leadership class from all over the state of Michigan. They come here to spend time with you and share their wisdom with you. So maybe some of the bulldogs out there get to learn from the big dogs. That's the whole idea of this, was that we put the best of the best with the best of the best. So please enjoy this evening. We have the best of the best here for you. We couldn't thank you more than enough for being here this evening. We're looking forward to your presentations. And certainly congratulations to Darrin, who's done an absolutely fabulous job with you know, running the program over the last year and putting tonight together. And we thank him for all of his efforts, and he deserves a big round of applause.
The honors. I think we should recognize a couple of the elected officials. I don't know how many of them are still with us, but we definitely wanted to recognize Tom McMillan, one of the state reps in Lansing who get it. Yeah. Thank you, Tom. Is tax cutting actually what you put on your tax statement? That's what you do as a profession?
They call them Mr. No.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we have a great lineup of speakers this evening. We're going to start off with Professor Harry Vereiser. Dr. Vereiser is currently the chairman of the Department of Economics and Finance at the University of Detroit Mercy.